watching the It's Her Time podcast with Cody and Jess. Hi, welcome back to the It's Her Time podcast. My name is Cody Sanders, and I'm a holistic health practitioner and functional nutritionist and the host of this show. And I love talking to women about their health and their happiness. Now, today I have a really fun guest named Megan Lyons. She is a double board certified functional nutritionist. She's also the author of a book called Start Here, 7 Easy Diet-Free Steps to Achieve Your Ultimate Health and Happiness. She's a top 10 Amazon bestseller in nutrition, and she runs a top podcast on health and wellness, which is called Wellness Your Way with Megan Lyons. Her Revitalized Health Accelerator is a community of health-minded individuals looking to continuously up-level their health and wellness. She is a girl after my own heart, and today she's going to share some very practical tips that can help set us up for success every single day and then also in life. But before we get into this episode, before you get to meet Megan, let's go to a Mixers Girls Say. All right. Welcome back to the Mixers Girls Say segment. You girls are going to recognize Bethany because she's been on before.
Hello.
We love Bethany. Bethany is over all of our PR here at Mixers, and she's amazing and so much fun. And today we're going to go and read some of your responses. Now, if you don't know, if you haven't been with us for a while, every Tuesday over on our Mixers social media, on our Instagram stories, we post a question box. And these are usually filled with questions that are fun, ways that we can get to know you. You know, a lot of the things make us laugh, and we just love to share your responses because it helps us all feel connected. It helps us feel like we can relate to each other. And it's just a fun moment to kind of break up sometimes the seriousness, although such fun seriousness that we do have here on the It's Her Time podcast, right? It's just a little entertaining moment.
Always.
So fun. I can't wait to hear what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
What was the question this week?
So the question was, what's something you look forward to every day?
Okay.
And
I like
we got
that.
some really good responses. And I'll read the first one that I really, really related to. I think everyone else will too. Someone said, going to bed. Ha ha ha.
First thing they look forward to when waking up, going back to bed,
Yes.
especially in the winter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's still dark outside and you're just like, do I want to get out of bed? No, I just want to stay. Yeah.
We actually got a few just like that. Another person said her nightly before bed, winky face.
Yay.
So clearly people just love their sleep.
Yes. Who
but
doesn't? Oh.
There are also good things that other people look forward to, like her Boost. Someone said they look forward to their Boost drink every day.
Good.
So her Boost is our caffeinated product. It is wonderful. So two kind of sides of the coin, you know?
Yeah. And we just came out with some new flavors. If you didn't know that, we've got a cinnamon chai, which is so yummy. You can heat it up.
So good.
Sip on it, nice warm drink, or you can drink it cool too. It's still yummy that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yummy. And I would recommend that is a good way to start your day because as Bethany just said, it does have caffeine in it. So caffeine obviously is a stimulant. Most of our products don't have any stimulants in it. We want to make sure we're not overburdening our body with too much caffeine because that can disrupt our hormones. But if you are already reaching for maybe some other caffeinated source, her Boost is a good option for you that's going to be a lot healthier for you, a lot better option. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another option, if you need a little pick-me-up, this person said, oh, and of course, my Mixers drink pick-me-up at work. Another gal said, let's see, I'm in college and every day I'm so excited to drink my Her Power while doing my work. So Her Power is another great way to just give you a little pick-me-up. It is our mind and mood support. So it just helps you focus, really dial in.
Good.
Yeah.
It helps you feel good. It is also can help give you a little bit of energy, but it's non-stimulant. So it's not going to keep you up at night. You could actually drink it right before you go to bed for those of you that's the thing you look forward to most every single day. But it's also going to help just support, like Bethany was saying, your concentration, your focus, your memory, but it also helps to produce those like feel good, happy hormones, those neurotransmitters that help, like dopamine and serotonin that help us to feel calm, relaxed, and happy, and just, in a much better mood all day long. So I love that. Now, did everybody talk about a Mixers product? Because I feel like this is turning into a Mixers commercial.
I know. No, there's some really good ones. This gal said, being off work and hanging out with my kids.
Yes.
Love that one. Another person said, my puppy and husband, so excited to see when I get home from work. That's darling. And then other people said, daily debriefs with my roommates. Love to hang out with my BFFs.
So that's lucky. That's
sweet.
Lucky to have some good roommates.
Yeah. So a lot of focus on just the people in everyone's lives as well. That was a huge thread.
Those are the things that matter most in the moments that I think most of us can relate to, thinking that it's the best part of our day. So I would love to know what you girls would say if you didn't get a chance to answer our question box on our Tell Us Tuesday, or, we didn't get a chance to read your response. I would love for you girls to participate and go onto our Mixers Girl page. There's a community page. If you go to our website, mixers.com, mixhers.com, and just go to community, there's a place for us where we meet, we talk, we hang out, we ask questions, we give comments, we share stories. It's just a fun place for us to be besties together. So I hope you enjoyed this Mixers Girl Say segment. And I love having Bethany on here. So thank you so much for helping us out. Okay, let's get into the episode.
Mixers is a company made for women by women. Each of our products have been carefully and lovingly crafted to support you in all stages of your life, providing you with the optimal health you deserve. Each ingredient we handpick is 100% all natural, backed by science, and chosen specifically to better your life physically, mentally, and hormonally. Each product empowers your body to take charge of its monthly hormonal shift and flows, empowering you to live life to the fullest. Let Mixers take care of your needs from sunup to sundown, and you take care of the rest. Check us out at mixers.com, MIXHERS.
All right, Megan, I'm so excited for our audience to get to know you. I'd love for you to just say hi, tell everybody a little bit about you and what we're going to be talking about today.
Of course. Thank you for having me, Cody. I am so excited to be here. And hello to all of the audience members. A little bit about me. My name is Megan Lyons. I own a company called The Lion's Share Wellness, and I absolutely love everything about wellness. I am one of those people who's so annoying because I truly love my job and I want to talk about every aspect of it all the time. But I didn't start out that way. I started out as kind of like a high achieving student all throughout my life. I studied economics in college. I went into management consulting, got an MBA, and I kind of liked that, but I didn't love it. I had my own health journey of burnout and then hormonal dysfunction, adrenal dysfunction. And I started digging through the literature in order to really find a solution for myself. And once I realized, oh my goodness, no one's talking about the fact that food can heal us and lifestyle can heal us and stress, if it's not managed, can be killing us and all of this stuff. I just had to share it with people. So I left management consulting in January 2014, and I just haven't looked back a day since. And part of what keeps me feeling so energized is my morning routine. And that's what we'll be talking about today.
I love it. I think we can't talk enough about how to set ourselves up for success, every single morning. And so I'm excited to dive into a lot of the tips, but I also just want to relate with you too, because I feel like I'm always that annoying person that always wants to talk about health because it affects so many aspects of our life. And, it's something that if you have good news and you've got good information as women, we just like to share. And so yeah, it's good that we have this kind of podcast where we can just talk about all the things. And this is a place where we're all like-minded and we all love to, learn how to really, do our best and do all that we can in order to support our health, our happiness, and how we can show up in the world. So yeah, I can't wait to dive in because that's a typical question that I like to ask our guests is, do you have a morning routine? But I love the thought that you're going to tell us how, this morning routine is going to absolutely change our life. So let's dive into it.
Yes. All right. So during that process of healing myself, I was trying everything possible. I was trying acupuncture and chiropractor and therapy, like talk therapists and supplements and all kinds of things like that. And I'll never forget the day when a therapist looked at me and was like, well, you just need to do a gratitude journal. And my brain almost exploded. I was like, you don't understand. My stress is much deeper than a gratitude journal. It can't help. That's so silly. I don't have time to write down 3 things I'm grateful for. I had this really strong reaction, but I decided to try it. And the first day, my attitude wasn't really into it. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And by the 5th day or the 6th day or the 7th day, I was like, oh, I actually kind of love this. This is really amazing. And I started noticing myself going through the day, looking for things that I would be able to write down in my gratitude journal. And the science, then I didn't know, but now I realize actually backs that up. That when we are looking for positive things, we notice more. Our energy, our attention goes more to those positive things. My brain was so used to focusing on the negative things, and I learned to use that gratitude journal to shift it to the positive. So that was the genesis of my morning routine, is just that simple gratitude journal. And I honestly think we're going to go through a lot more. But if people are like, oh, I don't know about the morning routine, I would just recommend starting there.
Yeah. Just get started. And it just feels like it's too simple. Like it's too simple to be effective, but it absolutely is a game changer. And it does, like when you get your mind in that kind of a gratitude mindset, it really does kind of set everything in motion for you to start looking for the good and then attracting all of the good things, in your life. And then actually, I feel like it energizes me to feel like I want to do my best. I want to work towards the goals that I have set before me. And all those things. So I love it. I'm a huge fan of gratitude any time of day, but especially if you can start your day with it.
Yes, absolutely. Glad we're on the same page there. So I loved the gratitude. And then I started researching, like if people remember, maybe 8 or 10 years ago, it started getting really popular. We would see in Fortune magazine and Entrepreneur magazine and Forbes and People magazine and all this stuff, the morning routines of the world's most successful people, from Oprah to President Obama to everyone in the middle. And I started reading a lot of their morning routines. And again, sometimes I was like, whoa, that's a lot. I don't really have time for that. Or that seems fluffy, or that won't work for me. But I just started experimenting with all of this stuff and looking into the research as well, because I am a science-minded person and research really convinces me. So I tried over the years a lot of different things. And at one point, my morning routine got super, super long and unwieldy. But by doing that, by experimenting with it, I was able to narrow it down to 8 habits that I found to be most effective for most people. And so I put those into this acronym called Wake Up and Go. Cute. Each letter of Wake Up, Go stands for a new thing. So it's easy to remember. Wake up and go.
We're going to be able to remember this easy. I love it.
Yes. Exactly. It is, for me, my brain takes a couple minutes to get rolling in the morning, but I can always remember Wake Up and Go. I can always remember the very first thing, W, which is water. And I know if I just start with that, then I can remember the rest of it. So I developed these 8 habits. And for me personally, I always get asked this question. My morning routine does take more than 8 minutes, but I have taught literally hundreds, if not thousands of people one-to-one to do it in an 8-minute version. And it is super effective. I have had 0 people try this 8-minute version and come back to me and say, oh, I'm not going to continue doing it, because it's really amazing. We don't ever, especially as women, spend 8 minutes just on ourselves, not focusing on what the rest of the world needs, not, quote, being productive, not tending to our kids or our partners or whoever else. It's just for me in the morning. And I encourage people to have that time that's just for them as well. It's not selfish. It's amazing.
No, it's actually the most selfless thing that you can do, because you can't really pour from an empty cup, right? We all have heard that saying, and it's so important. And we should all have at least 8 minutes. I know that there's things that probably we're spending time in the morning that do take up 8 minutes or even more that aren't really serving our better good. So I feel like this is something that's very doable, and I love it. I can't wait to hear all about the 8 things that you do in 8 minutes.
Yes. Okay. So let's start going through them. I already gave away the W is water.
Now, great though. So smart.
Yes. So important. I am definitely not opposed to coffee, although for some people with some adrenal issues, maybe not so helpful. But if you're like, I'm not going to give up my coffee, it's okay. I just encourage you to have water first. Now, the water can have electrolytes. We can talk about some of your products to put in there.
Yeah.
It can have greens. It can have apple cider vinegar. It can have lemon, but it cannot have coffee in there. It really needs to be water based. So if you're a coffee lover and you put a glass of water right by your coffee maker, then great. Just guzzle that down as the coffee is brewing and you've already completed your W for water.
I love it. I love it. And so important too. The reason is too that, I mean, obviously we're waking up after we've been asleep. We've been in a fasted state. Most likely we are dehydrated. And if you reach for coffee at the very beginning of your day, you're actually exacerbating that dehydration. So I love it, Megan.
Yes.
We do want to make sure that we're rehydrating, giving our body the water that we need. But even going beyond just getting water, you can actually amplify the benefits of that water and its ability to hydrate by adding in all of these different things that you've talked about, whether it's one of our mixers products, her hydration would be a really great one. Her greens would be a really great one. I love apple cider vinegar to go in there. All of those things actually amplify our body's ability to be able to take in that hydration. So that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. So then we've had our water. We're already feeling a little bit more energized, and people do come back and report to me, oh, I didn't want to do the water, but I had more energy when I did the water before the coffee. Then we move on to all the other ones. Now, I will say Wake Up and Go is a really nice acronym because, we can remember it. But the only ones that are really important to do in this order are the first and the last, the W and the O. So if you want to move anything else around in the middle, I personally move them around sometimes. You can do that, but water is first. Next one is A for affirmations. Now, same reaction that I had to gratitude, I had to affirmations because I only heard people doing affirmations like, I am a billionaire, or I am the most gorgeous supermodel to ever walk the face of the planet, or something like that. And that did not feel authentic to me.
Right.
And I learned that we can really easily get this cognitive dissonance. If I said I'm a billionaire and my brain is like, well, actually look in your bank account, you're not a billionaire, then I stop believing the things that I'm saying to myself. So personally, I don't actually have an affirmation.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I don't have an affirmation right now. I write my affirmations each year and I repeat them for the year, but you can change them every day. But right now I don't have one that's about money in particular. But if I did, it would be more effective for me not to say I'm a billionaire, but to say I am committing to being a careful financial steward today and doing what it takes to add value to the world so that I get value back or whatever. Something like that I can believe instead of something that is not fake. So it's in the present tense and it's positive and it's believable and it's written in a language that kind of amps you up. So when I read through my affirmations, I want to feel like I have a little pep in my step. Like I know what I'm doing. I know how I want to feel during the day. I really want to feel alive after reading those.
Absolutely. I think there's so much power to that. I mean, I think sometimes we think of affirmations as just positive thoughts, which it totally is, but those positive thoughts have to resonate with you in order to have the power behind this. And so I love how you brought that. It has to be something that is believable, but it also there has to be an emotion behind it. It has to stir some enthusiasm behind it so that it does kind of get you going. And man, when you can get that ball rolling, it's amazing how powerful setting the right affirmations are every single day.
Yes, totally agree. So then we move on to K, which is honestly my favorite one. K is for knowledge. So I like reading. That is one of my favorite things to do. I love reading actual books and with a highlighter every morning. People think I'm super nerdy, but I love it.
Hey,
but if you don't love reading,
nerds unite.
Yes. Proud to be a nerd.
Absolutely.
Sometimes in my very distant past, I used to hide it, but now I embrace it. It's all good. But if you are someone who doesn't like reading, you could listen to a podcast like this one. You could read. I actually don't recommend reading news articles because if you go to any of the normal news sources, no matter how you feel about anything political. It just makes us feel like junk. So I would encourage you to read something that's not traditional news for your knowledge, but anything you can do to fill your brain with new information that's not directly related to what else you're going to do during the day. That's your K.
I love that. That's really good. So I love it. What kind of books are your favorite thing to read? What is like your top recommendation?
Okay, I am so regimented in this because if you could see down there, I am a book buyer. I have more books than I will be able to read. And I've kind of given myself a free pass on that because I feel like I'm not someone who buys really expensive cars or bags or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to buy more books than I need, I'm going to be okay. And I just get so much joy out of them. So what I do is in the evening, I'm reading a novel. I don't read anything educational in the evening because it will wire my brain up. But in the morning, my three favorite genres are nutrition, obviously, because that's the bulk of my work, personal development, and business/leadership/ stories of successful business leaders. So I'll try my best to rotate between those three. Now, sometimes it gets skewed a little bit if like someone releases a wonderful book and I just want to read it right then or something like that. But otherwise, I'll rotate between those three genres.
Those are my favorite three too. I also throw in a little religion in there too. So whatever it is that's kind of expanding your mind and helping you to like learn new things is going to, it's like your workout for your brain. And so great. I love that. Knowledge.
Yes. Well, that's a perfect transition because E in Wake Up and Go is for exercise. Now, when I'm telling you we're spending 1 minute on each of these, 1 minute water, 1 minute affirmations, 1 minute reading, 1 minute exercise, people now start saying, okay, Megan, how much can you read in 1 minute? How much exercise can you do in 1 minute? This is not worth it. But I tell you, it's just like me saying gratitude wasn't worth it. If you read just 1 or 2 pages a day, that's a couple books in a year. And most people, sadly, don't read a book a year at all. Now, for me, that makes me want to cry because I just read. So I love it so much. But if you're just starting out, like my husband probably averages 1 book a year, if he were to read only 1 or 2 pages a day, he would get there. Same thing with exercise. Is 1 minute per day technically enough in quotes to be a healthy person? Honestly, no, it's not. But is 1 minute a day better than 0 minutes a day? And will that 1 minute most likely lead you into doing more minutes and working that into your routine? Absolutely. So I've had people who haven't exercised for a decade. And then I just ask them, could you give me 1 minute a day? You can do anything. You can dance, you can do push-ups, you can stretch, you can do jumping jacks, you can get a rebounder and jump on that. And that eventually builds the habit where they're like, I can do this. They have some self-efficacy and then they build on it more. And even if someone's exercising in the evening, which is another question I get a lot, I still encourage you to do 1 minute in the morning to get that lymph flowing, get your blood, your circulation going, get yourself energized and ready for the day. It's really fun in the morning.
It is. And it makes such a difference. Exactly like you're saying. It just kind of wakes everything up, gets everything moving. You know, as we've been sleeping, our body's been going to work and doing all kinds of cleanup, you know, with our system. And this is what helps to help support that important lymph system to help finish the cleaning job that needs to happen. We do need to move our body. And I love it. 1 minute is, not a lot, but if you're doing 1 minute of burpees, for instance, 1 minute's going to feel like an eternity. You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck for that. And it's also true, like the first minute that you start moving is usually the hardest. And if you can get past that first minute, you're most likely going to feel like you can continue on. And so that's the goal. But this is doable. This is something that makes people feel like they are succeeding. And when you can build on those little small successes, that's key for actually building healthy habits. So I think this is genius. Good job, Megan. Yeah, I love it.
Amazing. So we're halfway done. We've done wake. Now we have to up and go. U is for unwind. Unwinding can be prayer. It can be meditation. It can be journaling. It can be breathing. It's anything that just makes you feel like, that metaphorical and physical release.
Yeah.
And so I'll vary it. In fact, I actually usually do a couple of these. I'm selling myself out a little bit, but my non-negotiable is 1 minute of deep breathing. And I can do that anywhere. I can do that when I'm traveling. I can do that if I had to, I could do it driving, although I don't recommend that. I can do that in any situation. And so for listeners, focusing on the exhale is going to help us unwind more. The longer, slower exhale helps stimulate that vagus nerve, which people are hearing about these days, the connection between the brain and the gut, and really activates that rest and digest. So if you can just sit there, stand there, whatever, lay there and focus on long, slow exhales, you're doing something fantastic for your body. Even in 1 minute, research shows that you're able to lower cortisol, which is the stress hormone, lower your blood pressure, and lower your heart rate, all in 1 minute of breathing.
It's amazing. And again, it sounds so simple, but it is so powerful. And we talk a lot on this podcast about chronic stress and having to regulate our cortisol levels and things like that. And always we're talking about how it's hard. It's hard to get rid of all stress, but by kind of implementing some of these little strategies, like we're talking about, this deep breathing is such a simple way of like putting your body into that parasympathetic state, like you're talking about, that rest, digest. And the more often, I mean, obviously, just doing it for 1 minute is going to be beneficial. But imagine if you were going to check in with yourself maybe every other hour, of the day. Like imagine how that could really, really help to reduce that chronic stress and the negative effects of that chronic stress that it's having on your hormones, your health, your mood, all of the things. And so, yeah, I recommend it. Check in with yourself right now. How are you breathing? Are you using that deep diaphragmatic breath that's going to stimulate the vagus nerve? I mean, think about it. If your belly's raising and falling and naturally, then you most likely are doing that little bit of massage there. If you're breathing in your chest, see if you can kind of relax your body. If you're standing, if you're sitting, however, and just try to focus on getting those deep breaths in, even if it's just for 1 minute. Perfect. I love it.
Yes. Thank you for giving that explanation, because I took it as an opportunity to do some deep breathing myself. And it felt really good. It feels amazing to do that even in the middle of the day. So once we practice in the morning, we can keep on going. And that's our U for unwind. And then we get to P for positivity. So the simple way to do this is to have a calendar. I have one of those flip over calendars where you get a new positive quote for every day. I also have a positive playlist that I've created for myself on Spotify. And it's just music that makes me feel happy. Now, that's going to look totally different for me than for someone else. So I encourage you to create your own. It doesn't have to be anything specific. It's just music that makes you smile. And so when I take my dogs out, the secret is I do the water first, I guzzle my water, and then I go out and do pee next, even though it's in the middle of the order. I put on that positive playlist. I listen to one song as they're out there doing their thing. And even then, I already feel better, even before I've gotten to the next steps. Music is really powerful.
I agree. And I love that you have a positive playlist. I do too. And it's what I love to listen to. It never fails, gets me in the right mood. So whether it is when I'm out walking my dogs or if it's even when I'm driving in my car heading to work, just having that positive music does have such an influence. It's really hard to be in a bad mood when you're listening to your favorite songs that are making you feel like you want to move and you're remembering good times in your life. And, music is absolutely so powerful. And it's something that I would recommend too. But, even just having good positive sayings, around you, doing whatever it is that helps you to remember the positive things in life. I think that's just such a great tip.
Amazing. So now we get to G. And I bet, given my intro, people can guess what G is. G stands for gratitude. And so I do suggest what that therapist told me so many years ago is writing down 3 things that you're grateful for. If you don't want to write it down, can you think it? Of course. Can you type it? Yes. Although I really like people not to use their phone during the 8 minutes because it can lead us down a whole bunch of different rabbit trails. But any way that you want to focus on gratitude, it is so powerful. So that's the G habit. And then the final one is O, which is one goal. So I do think it's important to do this one last because it helps you culminate your morning routine feeling empowered. And what we do is we set literally one goal that if we can imagine the end of the day, we would feel positive and proud of ourselves for achieving this goal. So if listeners are like me and you, I'm sure, Cody, we probably have 89 things on our to-do list every day. And it would be really tempting to just use that one goal space to write down all 89. But that's not the point. The point is to do one that would make you feel proud. So sometimes it is something for work. Sometimes it's, I really need to finish this presentation, or I want to show up really well for this client or something like that. But oftentimes it's not. It's something that wouldn't even be on my to-do list. It's like, get to bed on time. Or yesterday, you said this in a couple of minutes ago. Yesterday, my literal number one goal was to take 10 deep breaths in between each client because I had one of those super back-to-back days. And I knew for my own nervous system, I needed to do deep breathing. So that's not something traditionally on our to-do list, but it actually reminds me of what's most important for that day. I have a planner that I created called the Pepper Planner, which has all this wake up and go. And that one square with one goal, I look down on it multiple times per day just to remind myself of what's important. So that's the end. That's the O for one goal.
I love it. And I do think that that's such an important step and one that we don't want to ever forget. You know, you had mentioned that the first and the last letters were the most important to do every day. And I agree. You know, I used to be a professional to-do list maker. Like I used to pride myself in thinking of all the things that I needed to do every single day. And I would stress myself out just so that I could check off the list. And oftentimes I'd get to the end of the day and I'd feel so discouraged because I wasn't able to check everything off. And so I changed my whole perception around. I had a really great mentor that helped me through this. So I appreciate her very much, changed my life. And instead of having a to-do list, we changed it to a best day list. So it's very similar to your concept where we're thinking about the things that if we could do today, they would make it the best day ever. And so, but I love even simplifying it even more. What's the one thing? And when you think about what the one thing is that could help you feel like you just succeeded today, that really puts things into priority. You know, it prioritizes, exactly what matters most to you. And when it comes to setting goals, if you don't set goals that actually mean something for you, are not actually connected to what matters most to you, really, what is the point of setting these goals anyways? And you're going to be less likely to accomplish these goals if they don't have that, priority connected to it.
I completely agree. And I love the best day list as well. I'm going to keep my one goal because I love that, but I am going to expand. I'm going to try this tomorrow for the first time and make a best day list. So thank you.
Hey, and I'm going to do yours. I'm going to just make it simple. One goal for the whole day. I love it. And how fun that you have a journal like that. Now, is that something that you sell on your website?
Yes, it is. It's something that, to be completely honest, I created it just for me when I wanted to start this morning routine. And I could remember wake up and go, but I'm someone who really likes to check things off. I like to have lots of check marks, going back to your to-do list idea. So here I have a check mark for each wake up, and I get to already feel in the morning in those 8 minutes, yes, I got so many checks. And then it also has a planner for the rest of the day. So I can write down my schedule. It has some things like a little meter for your stress level. And then it has a short daily reflection for the end of the day. I call it a daily smile. What's one thing that went really well? What's one thing you want to celebrate? And one thing to let go. That's one of my favorite ones as well. I just want to let this go, not worry about it overnight. So yes, this is available on my website. Now I sell it for everyone else, but every time I order a new shipment, I'm grateful for myself too.
You know what? There's a lot of power that comes from putting like pen to paper or pencil to paper. I feel like I'm a very visual person as well. Like it is easy to remember. You've come up with a really clever acronym that makes it so easy for us to remember all of these really healthy habits that can change our life every single morning and every day. But I think there is just something that is very powerful if we want these healthy habits to stick, to actually be writing them down and be looking at them consistently throughout the day. So I love that you offer this, that first of all, that you created it for yourself, but now that it's available for other people. We'll for sure put all of these links and everything so that our audience knows how to find one for themselves and so that they can also connect with you. So fun. This has been a really great episode, Megan. I really appreciate it. One of my favorite things is to, obviously share knowledge on this podcast. We love to do a lot of deep dives. We get into all the nitty gritty about stuff, but I also, with that, love to just have some simple things that people can start implementing into their life on a daily basis that are really going to move the bar. And we sometimes think it has to be complicated, and it really doesn't. So thank you so much for helping us to visualize how we can set ourselves up for success every single day.
Thank you so much for having me. And I echo that. I love running detailed labs on my clients and going into the science and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, even with all the things that I know, I will testify for sure that the morning routine is the health habit that has changed my life the most. And if anyone listening is willing to give it a shot, even if they're skeptical like I was so many years ago, I hope they have such a great morning tomorrow by implementing some of these tips.
Oh, I'm sure they will. And I hope that, in our community, we have a really fun community where we all meet, ask questions, talk about our podcast episodes. I'd love for you girls to get onto the Mixers Girls platform and share a little bit about how you are implementing all of this. And if you're feeling like it's making a difference, and I can then share your responses with Megan. It would be really fun to have that kind of communication, because I feel like that's another thing that can really help is when you feel like you're not alone doing this, that you've got other people that are also trying their best to, make their mornings count. And, and it just helps. It's very motivating that way.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, Megan, tell the audience all the ways that they can connect with you. I know that you have a podcast, you're a best-selling author, all these really cool things. And so I would love our audience to be able to feel like they are jumping on your bandwagon and get to, benefit from all of the great things that you're putting out into the world.
Yes, thank you so much. So the easiest way to find everything is my website, which is thelionsshare.org. So LYONS and then another S, SHARE.org. So lionsshare.org. That has a bunch of fun freebies. So like a 50-day health challenge where you get a new 1-minute tip or trick to do every day. It has the planner on there, lots of free blog articles and things like that. And then my podcast is called Wellness Your Way, and my Instagram is @thelionshare.
Perfect. I love it. This makes it so easy for us to be your new besties. So thank you so much.
I can't wait.
Yeah, for sure. Hey girls, thank you so much for tuning in again this week. We love our community. It helps us so much when you guys share these episodes, when you find them helpful with all the girls in your life, because sharing is caring. And I just appreciate it when you guys do so, because it helps build our audience. It helps to be able to help us invite really awesome guests like Megan Lyons for future episodes. Also, I love to know the things that you want us to be talking about. I am scheduling current guests to be on our show for next year. Can you believe we're already thinking about next year? So if you have a guest that you are interested in having on the It's Her Time podcast, or if you have a topic that you would like us to talk about, please reach out. Also, if you can be sure to give us a thumbs up if you're watching us on YouTube, or giving us 5 stars if you are listening on your podcast platform. It really does, again, help us so much know what it is that we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and it helps us to be able to grow. So thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week, I hope you guys have a very happy and healthy week. Bye.